Okay, second review. Write an equation slope-intercept form of the given line. So that needs to be in y equals mx plus b form. Now, you're not using any formulas. When you see the line, you simply measure. This is the y-intercept. This is the slope. Well, if I see a graph, the y-intercept's easy to spot. It's where the line crosses the y-axis, which is right there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So y-intercept is 4. Now a slope, don't do the y minus yx minus x, not on a graph. Okay, slope is rise over run. So what I do is I find a point that goes to the right of the y-intercept point. Right there is probably your best solid point. Okay, so the rise is negative, so -1, -2, -3. So -3 is your rise, and then the run, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means every time the x increases by 4, the y decreases by 3. So -3/4. Number 2, same thing. Y equals mx plus b. Okay. So MB. M is the slope, and the B is the y-intercept. So on the y-axis, right here, -1, 2, 3, 4. So -4 is your y-intercept. Then slope, rise over run. And right there, it's got to be to the right. So you're up 2. So +2 is your rise, your run's 1, 2, 3. So y equals 2/3 x plus -4. Okay, graph each equation using slope and y-intercept. Now the equation's given, you got to get it on a graph. So the y is by itself, so you have this in mx plus b form. So we have a slope and a y-intercept. So the slope is -2 over 1, and the y-intercept's +6. So on the y-axis, I go to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And from there, you go down to right 1. Okay, then you take a ruler. That line is continuous. The domain includes decimals. It includes basically every number. I got to get a ruler. Okay, so take your line, make it continuous right through there. Arrows on both ends, please. Okay, now in a x and y are here. We want the y by itself. Since it's the dependent variable, it's multiplied by 3. It's +3, so put a check mark. You don't need to change any signs. So you're going to add 4x, and you're going to make a 0x over there and add your 4x. So you line up your equals, and you have 3 times y. Now 0x plus 4x is 4x plus the 24. So then you divide all of these by 3. Now 4 divided by 3 is a decimal, so you keep that 4 over 3x. 20 ups. Guys, I made a mistake on this problem. I made this mistake. I'm going to change this. Let's pretend that 24 was a negative. Okay. You don't change that on your own. Okay. I'm changing it. -24 divided by 3 is -8. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to get 2 points. I changed it. Okay. You don't do that unless I tell you. MB. Okay. So the slope is 4/3. The y-intercept is -8. So my y-axis here, -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then from there, you go up 4 over 3. Means every time the x increases by 3, the y increases by 4. Okay. Arrows on both ends, please. Okay. Okay, number 5, well, I'm missing one of the variables. This is X, this is Y, but I'm missing the Y. So if I'm missing one of them, we set up a series of coordinates. Let's make 3 of them. The variable that you're missing, okay, we're just going to have that be whatever, 1, 2, 3, the Y. Now the X has a constant value without the Y, so X is constantly at -4. So your left 4, up 1. Then your left 4, up 2. Left 4, up 3. And you have a straight vertical line. Make it continuous. Arrows on both ends, please. Okay. Last one, we have to get the Y by itself. So Y is multiplied by 4, positive 4, so we don't have to change signs. We don't want, if that's a negative right there, you need to change everything in the equation to the opposite. So we add 2x, make a 0x, and add 2x. So you have equals, you got 4 times Y. 0x plus 2x is 2x plus -12. Then you divide everything by 4. 2 divided by 4 is a decimal, so you can leave it 2 fourths. You could also reduce it to 1/2, but it's not really necessary. So the slope is 2 fourths, the y-intercept is -3. If you want to reduce it, you can. I just don't want a decimal. So 2 fourths is your slope, -3 is the y-intercept. So 1, 2, 3 means every time the x increases by 4, the y increases by 2. 4. Okay, so continuous line, arrows on each end, please. Okay. Next, we got blank, so we're not doing anything. Now we're writing an equation without the graph. Now you have to know your formulas. If you don't know the m, that's y minus y, x minus x. If you don't know the b, that's y equals m times x plus b. Okay, so write an equation of a line at the following traits. We have an m of 1/3. That means the slope's 1/3, and also when x is 9, y is -3. So y equals mx plus b. So you have to find your m and your b. So your m is 1/3, and your b is y equals m times x plus b. So the m, I'm solving for the b. So the m is 1/3. -3 is y, 9 is your x, so -3, b plus. So you find what 1/3 times 9 is. 1 ABC 3 times 9 is 3. And you got to get the b by itself, so you got to minus the 3. Guys, this is not 0. A -3 minus a 3 would take you left, so you're -4, -5, -6. There's your answer. Y equals 1/3 x plus -6. Okay, through now in the next one, they give me 2 solutions. There they gave me the solution with the slope. Now they give me just 2 solutions. 2 points on the line. Any point on the line means it's an xy solution to the equation. So the m, we don't know. That's y minus y over x minus x. So you got 3 and 6, there's your highest one, so 1 over 6. Then -2 over 3. When you minus a negative, you're actually increasing the number by adding it, so that's 3, and 6 minus 3 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so 1 is your slope. Now your b, y equals m times x plus b. So the m is 1. And then we'll use the 1, 6 combination. You could also use, if you use -2 for y, you have to use 3 for x. B plus 1 times 6 is 6. Then you get rid of the 6 by minusing 6, and you get -5 equals b. Answer. Okay, you're doing the same thing. You're laying out an equation. Okay, it's got to be parallel to the line y equals 5x minus 2 and also through the solution 2, -1. Now, parallel lines have the same m. They have the same slope. So in the given equation, I make sure the y is by itself. If it is, I label my mb. I don't need the b. So same slope. If that's 5, your slope has to be 5. B, y equals m times x plus b. So m is 5. -1 is y. 2 is x. B plus 5 times 2 is 10. And you get rid of your plus 10 by minusing 10. -11. Okay, next one, perpendicular. Remember, parallel means the lines run side by side. That's how they have an equal slope. Perpendicular means they cross and form a 90-degree angle. That's what perpendicular means. Okay, perpendicular means they don't have the same m. You need to flip the m and also make it the opposite sign. So, okay, y equals mx plus b. So m is my slope, b is my y-intercept. So the y is by itself, so mb, get rid of the b. Now, in order to flip it, it has to be a fraction, so you put a 1 under it, and then you flip it to 1 over 3. And if this is negative, the opposite here would be positive, so my m is 1/3. Now to find the b, y equals m times x plus b. So the m is 1/3. Y goes at 5 in for y, 3 in for x. You line up your equals, you put 5, then b plus 1/3 times 1 is 1. Okay. 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 is equal to b. Y equals 1/3 x plus 4. Okay, now we got more graphs here, but the absolute value means they form a V. Okay. The lowest a V can ever get is where the y is equal to 0. Put equals 0 there. Now, that is called your vertex point. If you know where that is, you can complete your V. Now, here's the x. You got to find what value for x inside the absolute value makes 0. Well, it'd just be 0 because x equals 0. Okay. Now, outside, you got a plus -2, so if x is 0, y is equal to -2. So, this is, you don't move right or left, you just go down 2. So, 1, 2. Now you make the rest of your V. Okay. 3 points on each side, right on the grid. Okay. All right, so I construct my V, put arrows on both ends. Now, your domain and range. Okay. It's not hard to do. This is 0, -2. This is x, this is y. So on x, that vertex point's at 0, but it's on right and left, so that's why the domain is all. Now the range is your y, so at that point y is -2, but it only goes above the -2. So I put y with its -2 value, and it goes up, so that would be greater than or equal. Y can't be anything less than -2, only greater than or equal. Okay, number 11, same thing, it's a V. Okay. Vertex. You circle the inside. This time it says x plus 3, so you set that equal to 0. You minus 3 from each side, and x equals -3. That's your x. Now there's nothing outside added to behind the absolute value bracket, so I put a 0 in there, and it's 0. So this time it goes right, left instead of up, down. So left 3, and then you stay. Right there. There you go. Okay, your domain is based on the x, so at that point on the x-axis you are at -3. Just put -3, 0. but it goes right and left, so the domain's all. Now on the y-axis, that point is at 0, but it's only going above that, okay? So put your y with the 0. It goes up, so it's greater than or equal to. Just take your y coordinate, 0, and if it goes up, it's going to be greater than or equal to. Okay, story problems. This first one's pretty easy. The temperature at sunrise is 65 degrees. Each hour, the temperature rises 5 degrees. Write an equation in slope-intercept form that models the temperature during the day. How many hours will it take the temperature to reach 90 degrees? Okay. So you have degrees and hours as your units. X is hours, Y is degrees. So per degrees per hour. That's your slope in a story problem, and it's 5 times x. Every hour it's changing by 5. Positive because it's rising. So then you got hours and degrees. So the hours start at 65, and every hour we're adding 5 to it. So it's 70, 75. Now block that off and put what 90 degrees. And your job is to find how many hours go with 90 degrees. All right, so make your line equals y. Y starts at 65, and you're adding 5 every hour, 5 times x. Easy enough. So my equation is 65 plus 5 times x equals y. Okay, y equals 90. 90 goes in for y, so replace the y with 90. Where the y is at, you put 90 in. Now you get x by itself. You got plus and times, so you got to get rid of the plus number first. It's 25 times x equals 25. Then you divide by 5. And 25 divided by 5 is 5. And that makes sense because in the third hour it'd be 80, the fourth hour would be 85, the fifth hour you're up to 90. Okay, next problem. Be careful here. A hot air balloon descends. That means it's going down in a linear path. After 10 seconds, the balloon is 640 meters above the ground. After 30 seconds, it's 590 meters above the ground. How many seconds will it take the balloon to descend from its initial altitude to the ground? By the way, this needs to be crossed out. You need to put meters. I screwed up, because you have seconds in meters. Seconds is x, meters is y, so per meters per second. Now we don't know the meters per second at this juncture, so you put m times x. We know there is a constant meters per second, we just don't know what it is. So x, y, x is seconds, y is meters. Now, without this, we don't want to go 0, 1, 2. We want to go 0, block it off, and put B, because we don't know where we started at. We know that 10 seconds goes with 640 meters. We know that 30 seconds goes with 590 meters, and we got to get down to 0 meters. Question mark for the seconds. So I'm making my line graph. I just don't know where Y started at. I'm going to put B. And I obviously don't know what I'm adding every second because it doesn't go by 1 second at a time. So plus m times x. So I have to find the m and I need to find the b. M slope and b would be the y-intercept. So slope is y minus y, x minus x. And then the b is y equals m times x plus b. Okay. So you start down here. These are what you're rolling with. Put your 590 over 30. Guys, you got to put the x on the bottom. 590 over 30. It's meters per second, not seconds per meter. Then 640 and 10. Minus those, you get negative 50. Minus those, you get 20. And then you divide that. On a story problem, if it's a decimal, just put the decimal. Negative 2.5. That's your meters per second. Now to find the b value, M is negative 2.5. Then I'll pick, I'll go with this, 590 for Y, 30 for X. So that's 590, and then B plus, and I take negative 2.5 times 30, and that is going to be negative 75. And you plus 75 to both sides. That's going to be 665 meters equals B. So B is 665. Now that's not your answer to the problem. That just tells you what the meters started at. The meters started at 665. You're adding negative 2.5 meters every second equals Y. Then Y is then replaced with 0. The 0 equals Y. So get the Y out and put 0. And now you can solve for X. So you minus your 665. Negative 2.5 times X equals negative 665. Divide by negative 2.5. Negative 665 divided by negative 2.5 is 266. So it's be 266 seconds. Okay. The reason why that's so high is because this is only going down 2.5 every single second. So it's going to take a while to get from 590 to 0 if you're only going by 2.5 every time. Okay, last problem. I screwed this up. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. That's my bad. The data below follow a linear model. Make a scatter plot for the data. Well, they follow a positive trend because it's going up. So years is X and price is Y. So you start at 0, you just number it up to 3. This one's not a very long one. And it goes 4 or 5, it can go on. Now the price is 0. Now you want to start it at 520 and you want to add 10 cents every time when labeling it. So it'd be 5.20, 5.30, 5.40, 5.50, 5.60, 5.70, 5.80, 5.90, then you get to 6 even, and then $6, and you can stop at 6.10. All right, so start graphing 0, 5.30s right there, okay? 1, 5.57 right there. 2, 5.82. 3, 6.05. It's pretty close to a straight line, but not quite. I mean, this is going to be pretty easy to make a flow line, okay? A line of best fit. You won't get it to go through all of them exactly. Now, when it's going up, you want an arrow because it goes on forever. Okay, now write an equation of that line. It's a line. You write y equals mx plus b. B. M's the line slope, B's the line's y-intercept. Now make a table, your own table, and put years and money, years and price. Now you're going to want to put the 0, 5.30 because if I know what y is when x is 0, that is the y-axis, that's the y-intercept. You can see the line crossing the y-axis at 5.30, that's your B. Might as well go put that in your equation. Now to find the M, okay, we can't really measure it because it's in the middle of nowhere, so we pick 2 points, okay? Go above the 1 and the 2. So 1, 5.57, and then 2, 5.82. Okay? And then y minus y, x minus x. Then 5.82 over 2. Then 5.57 over 1. So it's 0.25 over 1. And just divide it, it's 0.25. So what that means is you start at 5.30 and 25 cents represents your change per year. Goes up by about 25 cents every year.